Shalom, brothers and sisters. So I thought maybe you'd like some detail on who these enemies of Israel are, and I'll do one every now and then and give you a better feel for them. So this video might not be for you, but it might be if you'd like to know more. So let's look at the Hamas terror group, a Palestinian Islamic fundamentalist movement engaged in grassroots organizing and armed resistance and terrorism against Israel. It won the 2006 Palestinian legislative election and became the de facto governing authority of the Gaza Strip following the 2007 Battle of Gaza. It also holds a majority in the parliament of the Palestinian National Authority. Canada, the European Union, Israel, Japan, Australia, and the United Kingdom and United States have designated Hamas as a terror organization. New Zealand and Paraguay have designated only its military wing as a terrorist organization, which is really just two-faced. I mean, come on. If my country's military wing is a terror organization, you're happy to deal with my country, but label the... No, come on. You just... No. It's not considered a terrorist organization by Brazil, China, Egypt, Iran, Norway, Qatar, Russia, Syria, and Turkey. So pretty much BRICS, right? In December 2018, a resolution to condemn Hamas as a terrorist organization failed to pass the United Nations Great Assembly. They have too many friends there. Hamas was founded in 1987, soon after the first Intifada broke out, as an offshoot of the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood, which in its Gaza branch had previously been non-confrontational towards Israel and hostile to the Palestine Liberation Organization, the PLO, right? Hamas was affirmed in 1988 and founded to liberate Palestine, including modern-day Israel, okay, from Israeli occupation, and to establish an Islamic state. They don't mean a small piece as part of Israel, they mean all of Israel. In the area that is now Israel, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. So all the Jews in the ocean have a swim, they'll take everything. Israel and Hamas have engaged in several wars by varying intensity. Hamas military wing has launched attacks against Israeli civilians and soldiers, often describing them as retaliations, in particular for assassinations of upper echelons of their leadership. Tactics include suicide bombings and rocket attacks. Hamas published its charter in August 1988, where it defined itself as a chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood and its desire to establish an Islamic state throughout Palestine. It contains anti-Semitic passages and characterizations of Israeli society as Nazi-like in cruelty, and it declares all of Palestine a waqf, an unalienable religious property consisting of land endowed to Muslims in perpetuity by God, with religious coexistence under Islam's rule. The Charter rejects a two-state solution, stating the conflict cannot be resolved except through jihad. Now they keep saying Israel's the one stopping the two-state solution, but there it is in their charter. In May 2017, Hamas unveiled its new charter in an attempt to moderate the image. The charter no longer calls for Israel's destruction, but still calls for the liberation of Palestine and to confront the Zionist project. It also confirms acceptance of the 1967 borders as the basis for establishing a Palestinian state, as well as not being an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood. Interesting, right? Now let's look at some statements by Hamas members and clerics. Statements made to an Arab audience. On August the 10th, 2012, Amar Bar, Deputy Speaker of the Hamas Parliament, stated in his sermon, airing on Al-Aqsa TV, If the enemy sets foot on a single square inch of Islamic land, jihad becomes an individual duty incumbent on every Muslim, male or female. A woman may set out without her husband's permission, and a servant without his master's permission. Why? In order to annihilate the Jews. Allah destroy the Jews and their supporters. Allah destroy the Americans and their supporters. Allah count them one by one and kill them all without leaving a single one. In an interview with Al-Aqsa TV on September 12, 2012, Marwan Abu Ras, a Hamas MP, said, "The Jews are behind each and every catastrophe on the face of the earth." Sounds like Hitler. This is not open to debate. This is not a temporal thing, but goes back to the days of yore. They concocted so many conspiracies and betrayed rulers and nations so many times that the people harbor hatred towards them. Throughout history, from Nebuchadnezzar until modern times, they slayed the prophets and so on. Any catastrophe on the face of the earth, the Jews must be behind it. In an interview on Lebanese television on July 28, 2014, Hamas spokesperson Osama Hamdan repeated the following myth. We all remember how the Jews used to slaughter Christians in order to mix their blood in the holy matzos. It has happened everywhere. This is something they tell their children, this is something they teach each other, and they're still continuing with this. Statements to the international audience. In an interview with CBS this morning on July 27, 2014, Hamas leader Khaled Meshal stated, "We are not fanatics, we are not fundamentalists, we are not actually fighting the Jews because they are Jews per se. We do not fight any other races, we fight the occupiers." In May 2009, senior Hamas MP Saeed Abu Musume said, "In our culture, we respect every foreigner, unless they put a foot on their land, then it's jihad, especially Jews and Christians, the people of the book according to the Quran. But we are against Zionists, not as nationalists, but as fascists and racists." In the same interview, he said, "I hate all kinds of weapons. I dream of seeing every weapon from the atom bomb to small guns banned everywhere." Speaking with fork tongue is what this is. Clearly, you can see it. From what I pulled here and put together, you can clearly see it. Now, let me dig deeper. I went further than just that's the historic information. These are their statements to their own audience and to the international audience, where you can clearly see the divisiveness and the two-tongue. And then we dug into the name now. So I went and I looked. Hamas is an acronym of the Arabic phrase, or Haraka al-Muqawama al-Islamiyya, meaning Islamic Resistance Movement. This acronym, HMS, was later glossed in the Hamas covenant by the Arabic word Hamas, which itself means zeal, strength, or bravery. Okay? As a verb, though, Hamas also means to take by violence, to rob, and to destroy. Now that sounds right to me, so well done in the name. The Hebrew word Hamas in the Old Testament is most frequently translated as violence, and that is what they're known for. However, the word Hamas in the Old Testament also appears in the context of sin and injustice against God and one's fellow man, judicial affairs, and structural violence. How is that for spot on when it comes to Hamas? So I'm hoping after that I didn't overwhelm you with too much information or give you too much detail, but just give you a basic picture. When you see in the news or you hear these shame poor people, Hamas, who they really are and what they represent and what the Bible sees them as and what their own words see them as and what they actually display in their fruit. This is just one of many, and like I said, if you would like, I could do the rest too. Hezbollah, and all of them. But yeah, evil to the core. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.